Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well today. So in this super short video, I want to talk to you all about the first thing I do when thinking about investing. Okay, and and I would suggest that this is going to be if you are not doing this and you start to do this, I think over time you will be a much more successful investor in whatever you're investing in. And if you are already doing this, I want to congratulate you and encourage you to keep doing this and stick with it, because I think it will pay dividends for you over the course of your investing life. And this concept and idea is focusing and starting with when you are analyzing a market, when you are analyzing, let's take the card market because this is a card channel, and I look out and I see tens of thousands of sets, right? You know, there's so much out there, okay? How do I go about figuring out where the hell do I put my money into all these things? What things are going to go up? What things are going to go down? It's overwhelming. The options are countless. The first thing I do is I think about what is going to lose me money. What are the dangers of this market? And what are the most risky and the most dangerous things that I could buy? And I try to come up with a couple of things in my head that can rule out 99% of the market right away, okay? So a couple of those things could be if something's super mass produced, if something isn't particularly historical, if something isn't a first of some sort of important character, if something doesn't have a strong IP, you know, and when I label those 4 or 5 things, I am able to now get rid of 99% of items, even more than that, and then I can focus in on what I believe have the best fundamentals and the cream of the crop, and then I can really focus in. I can study those things, and I can figure out, okay, which of these better items, you know, or items that are have a lot less downside because of what we just talked about. Which one of those items is going to be the best thing to buy? Which one is going to have the most upside? These types of things. Okay, so I think that the reason people don't do this is because there's a little bit of a movement I find online and in the PokeTuber space, in the investment in general space on YouTube and other places, that seems to be like, if you talk negatively about something, if you talk critically or you think critically about an investment or an idea, you're just a hater. What that means, I'm not exactly sure, but I think what it means is that you're sort of a unthinking, like you wish bad things for other people. Like you hope people lose money on an item. You just don't like the item or something like that. This is, to put it bluntly, an extremely immature way of viewing markets, and you are going to lose massive amounts of money over the course of your lifetime in investing if you have that sort of attitude. Investing is primarily about looking at the negative, to filter out all of the bad companies, all of the overvalued things, and then finding those few key things that people are missing, that people are undervaluing. Now, all that being said, of course, there are going to be many items and many companies that I believe, right, after doing my risk assessment and my analysis of the downside, that I think have way too much risk and don't make any sense to invest in, that do extraordinarily well, that do extremely well. That's always going to happen. I'm always going to miss out on those types of items, okay? But the people who invest generally in those types of items, they hit an item like that, and then they just gamble it all away and lose it all on the same type of risky items. Because the more you gamble on items like that, and the more you gamble on stocks or anything like that, the greater the odds you are finally, particularly if you're not deleveraging that risk by taking some of that money out and putting it into safer things, which is what you absolutely should do. If you hit something, if you get really lucky and you hit something really rich, you should take a lot of that money out and diversify it and put it into safer items. Okay. Now the danger is that people who hit it rich, first of all, other people see them hit it rich and they think that they understood something, or that they got something right, that they're some sort of genius. First of all, no one is a genius. No one can predict the future. No one is that smart. And the majority of people who are pretty smart, almost all of us, I mean, pretty much every PokeTuber you're going to listen to is like a smart guy. It does not take any genius level IQ to do to do a risk analysis and look and figure out the fundamentals of a card and make really strong, safe decisions over time in a market like this. Okay, what it takes more is patience and persistence, hard work, and a strategy and an understanding of how markets work. Okay, and a sophistication. The reason why I think that more people aren't doing this is because of that hater idea, and that idea that being negative, that being fearful, that being bearish on certain things when you have good reason to be bearish means you just haven't leveled up, or you need to evolve, you need to, all this type of bullshit that people are going to say to you. Do not let people call you negative and make you change your stance or change your intelligent critique of any sort of collectible market. Now, are there people who go way too far and they say, you can't make any money in anything, everything's a scam in life, everyone is out to get you, this or that? There are people who are far too negative and pessimistic, and you can freeze yourself when you're like that. Those people don't ever invest in anything. They probably keep all their money in gold or cash stuffed in their mattress, for real. And that is also not not a good way to invest, okay? To be that risk averse. But finding that middle ground and that balance is something that is going to be so key and vital to your long-term success. And I really would push you to, if you realize that you are not thinking enough about the downside and not enough about the risk and the fundamentals, take a moment, think about that stuff, and it will probably help you refocus your collecting goals, your investing goals, and I think it will serve you really well in the long run. So that's, I guess that's my message for today. Feel free to disagree or please comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas. I guess to end it, where that leaves me now is I have always been bullish on the idea of non-sports cards and on the possibility of non-sports cards becoming a more established market and successful market. This year has done a lot of good in making that happen. There are billions of dollars coming into this industry. There are huge companies like Pwcc, who are growing and plan to be grading 20 million cards a year. There are all these, there are different grading companies opening up. There are all these auction houses trying to open up, and because of all these and all these stores opening up that are trying to be middlemen and get distributor product and sell, because of all these things, there's going to be more awareness, more attention, more energy, more advertising happening around non-sports cards than ever before in the history of non-sports cards. And because of that, I am bullish, even though I understand the risks, and trust me, I believe that all of these things could be very, very poor investments, that there could be no good non-sport investments when all things are said and done, as compared to putting your money in the S&P 500. I'm aware of that. But it's a calculated risk. I see the upside there, and it's fun. It's really fun to collect these things. I would I'm not a financial advisor here. I would always suggest you not just investing all of your money and putting all of your money into these things, even though they're really fun. It's a dangerous thing to do. But I do see upside in non-sports cards in general, and I do see Pokemon as playing an important role as one of the key non-sport card collectibles. But there's a lot of stuff out there, and it's going to be, you know, as this market gets established and goes up and down, and there are all these other card games that are starting, and which ones succeed, which ones don't succeed. It's going to be bumpy. It's going to be up and down, and there's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of opinions. But just make sure that you educate yourselves, that you think about downside of everything that you're doing, not just the upside, and you really understand that, like, anyone giving you a guarantee, and I know I say this on the channel a lot, but I'm going to say it again, anyone giving you a guarantee on any specific item, any specific product, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't listen to them, because they probably have good advice and interesting things to say that you should consider, but do not be persuaded by that word. That is foolish. They, in that moment, when they're saying that, they are being a fool to say something like that, because there's so much risk in these items. It's so I mean, particularly when we're talking about anything modern that is still in print on top of it. I mean, I hear people giving advice on that stuff all the time. We have no concept of how much they're going to print. We have no concept of how much is going to be graded, and are they going to bring those prices all the way back down to $10 again from PSA? They probably will, and then mountains of stuff is going to be graded, and we just don't know how long it's gonna take, and what type of long-term impact it's gonna have on all of those cards. So and that goes for vintage Pokemon too. There's massive amounts of vintage Pokemon left to be graded, and that will, you know, continue being graded. There's massive amounts of sealed product. So although prices are a lot more attractive in vintage now than they were months ago, there's still a lot of risk and a lot of danger in buying at these prices. So just be smart, be aware of that, and trust yourself, trust yourself and your opinions. Okay, so thank you all for listening, and I'll have another video for you guys soon. Take care.